some things just don't make sense, do they? You scratch your head, and you think it wasn't meant to be like this. Um, and I didn't see this as being part of my future. And you wonder, how did I get here? Hi, it's Barry from Turning the Page. Thanks for joining us again for another podcast or YouTube. And this one's about plans and the plans God has for you. And we have these things happen to us and we didn't see that coming. And you wonder, what on earth is going on? And questions and ponderings sort of flow through your brain. And we wonder, actually, is God there at all? And amidst the struggle, you wonder about the plans God has for you. And I thought it was all about prosperity, but this doesn't seem to be prosperous. And some things just don't make sense. And it wasn't meant to be like this. And I didn't see this in my future. And people say things that feel like grains of sand being rubbed into your open wound. Like, you need more faith. You need to pray more. You need to give more. God intends for you to prosper. Try harder. You've got sin in your life. You need to forgive. God has plans for you. And you wonder about the end product. Where is this all going? Can anything good come out of the mess I am in? And you try and work it out. But it's all a bit of a puzzle, I reckon. It's a jigsaw puzzle. When I think when I'm 94, if I make it to that age, I might be able to see how a few pieces have fitted together and something godly good has emerged. At this moment, I still wonder, and I still wonder how. It's a mystery. I think it's like being given like a 10,000 piece jigsaw puzzle without the accompanying picture of what the puzzle will look like. Mountain scene, tropical birds, an old house. You have absolutely no idea what it will look like in the end. And to complicate it further, there are no straight-edged pieces. You always look for the straight-edged pieces to join together because those are the easiest ones and to make the boundary. Well, this one hasn't got that. This puzzle seemingly could go on forever. There's no nice, easy parts for you to make a quick start and have those nice, neat borders. So you make a start and find a few pieces that connect. This one fits in here, and maybe this one will go in here. And you notice that a lot of the pieces actually look the same. I thought this, in fact, there's only slight shade differences to it. There was a lot of sky. Oh no. And I thought this life was meant to be easy, no complications. It was straightforward and simple, yet it's more like a vast blue sky puzzle. Did you ever think that mystery was in God's plan for you? Look, I often receive requests for prayer, and you're welcome to email me. There's a link in the show notes, barry@turningthepage.co.nz, if you want me to pray for you. And often there's a lot of pain, loss, desperation. And first, I believe they want God to act in certain ways. But I also think there is a deep, probably unconscious need to feel that someone else knows the struggle, that they are being held in someone's thoughts. And they want to be held, known and loved by at least one other person. Being alone and completely abandoned is the worst of crimes we can do for each other. And I hold people in my thoughts during the day, and prayers sometimes form around spirit nudges for this person and that. But their puzzle is jigsaw messy, like mine. And then someone quotes Jeremiah 29:11, and especially the translation that has the word prosper. And here it is: "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." And at this point, when people bring out that prosperity word, I understand why Jesus got angry and picked up whip. Bitterly cold comfort to someone dying from cancer or having had their house burned to ashes. We hear the word plan, and we think blueprint, map, already laid out for us. And we heard the word prosper, and we go to what the world considers as prosperity. The good life of health, wealth, beautiful people, and anything advertised to us that will bring us personal fulfillment. Yet here we are, like Job, sitting at an ash heap, picking at our sores. And quite frankly, I wish some people would just shut up and keep their band-aid claptrap verses for their own happy, fast face mask wearing friends. I had a friend when he read that, he said, I love that line. So I'm going to read it again. I wish some people would just shut up and keep their band-aid claptrap verses for their own happy, fast face mask wearing friends. In the original Hebrew, this would have most likely be read in this way. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, says Yahweh, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah 29:11. Thoughts that God thinks towards us, thoughts of peace, a future, a hope. Reality hits that we are not there yet. And we, like the people of Israel that this verse was originally intended for, are in exile from the home always intended for us. There are some words that we may know from hearing them so often because people have said them as little mantras. Forsaken, I believe, could be one of those words. Deuteronomy 31 verse 6 says, I will never leave you. He will never leave you or forsake you. Forsaken means to be remote, absent, depart from. In God's thoughts, you are always held, loved, known, even though you may feel in exile and in a strange land. God is always on the move with thoughts and intentions to bring you to jigsaw puzzle completion with no pieces missing or in the wrong place. Jigsaw pieces move and clip together, sometimes awkwardly, sometimes with ease. We look at our life and see how God's thoughts have been shaping the puzzle. And amid the pain of the present day, we know that we are held, loved, and known. Perhaps you have to change your thinking about the plans God has for you. I wonder what your jigsaw puzzle would look like at the end. Good question, eh? Hey, some quotes. The moment God is figured out with nice, neat lines and definitions, we are no longer dealing with God. Rob Bell. When you stand before me, God, in mystery, you will eventually rest within me in trust. When you can't figure me out, you'll give up the illusion of predictability and control and discover the joy of freedom and hope. Larry Crabb. Control eventually gives way to mystery and letting go of control. Suddenly, we are not in charge. Richard Rohr. Real silence, real stillness, really holding one's tongue comes only as a sober consequence of spiritual stillness. Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Here's some questions. When you hear the words, I have thoughts towards you, what is your first reaction and why that reaction? Number 2, a jigsaw puzzle unfolds itself as the pieces come together. Have you seen this happen in your life? Number 3, what does prosperity look like to you? How is it portrayed to you through modern media? What do you think God's view of being prosperous looks like? Well, that was a good post, wasn't it? And I hope you found it interesting and helpful. But this whole thing of prosperity, I think many of us have got it wrong. And the world says this is what prosperity looks like. Whereas I think God will say something completely different. And I pray that you would discover that jigsaw puzzle of your life starting to connect, starting to make sense for you how God is using your life and your jigsaw puzzle for their good. Okay, we'll talk again. Bye.